So let's start. Guys, you can stop me anytime and ask questions. That's not just going to be like a live build or a demo or anything like that. I would like you to participate because I'm not the best at diagnosing what questions people have. So, all right. So let's begin. So today we are going to talk about different ways and different builds for recruitment, the recruitment industry. Some of you might have already heard it before. My wife owns a recruitment company in the luxury yachting sector, and so I know the problems that they encounter perfectly. I hear them every day. And in a previous life, I also had a private chef company, which was essentially a recruitment company too. So the way the industry is going is that pretty much everyone has the same CVs and the same candidates, and they win placements because they are fast or because they reply when people don't reply, like during weekends or out of office hours. So basically, speed is key, and they spend most of their time looking for people, sourcing. So that's the most difficult part of the job. So the solution I've built, the different solutions I've built, you will see that in a minute, and I've made quite a lot of mistakes along the way. I've designed to work with very large pools of candidates, and that's the main difficulty, because when you are dealing with RAG agents and you are dealing with a couple of hundred documents, this is very, very easy, and this is pretty reliable. When you are dealing with thousands and thousands, or even, I think we have like over 200,000 documents in the database, it becomes a lot more complicated. Especially because you need speed and you also need reliability. If people are going to use AI or are going to use such a service to complement or to do what their database would actually do, or their applicant tracking system would do, there is no point deploying such a system. So it needs to be a lot better. Guys, do we have anyone in the recruitment sector here, or anyone who has worked in the recruitment trade?
Yeah, me.
And Mark?
Yes.
What sector did you?
I was associated to an HR company searching for up to C-level, so managers and C-levels in the automotive space.
Okay. So yeah, like the placement fee for people like that is like anywhere between 15 to 20,000 K.
Yeah.
So there is a lot at stake. And when people have the same CVs, well, speed is like essential. In your team, basically, whoever sends the right candidate first wins.
Yeah.
So here we are. Okay. So I'm going to continue with the presentation. So that's, I've already covered that. So the current pain, it takes approximately 4 to 6 hours from client brief to CV submission. Sometimes it can take a lot longer. The goal with the system is basically to reduce that by 95%, like to get it down to 15 minutes, or even faster, as you will see. So today in this presentation, I will show you how I've built different advanced search architectures and how you will be able to do it yourself as well. When to choose AI versus using traditional workflows, This is really important. And when to combine both, we'll touch on the concept of building multi agents too. Data ingestion strategies for large document collections. And that's really, really important. That's paramount. And that's actually the most complicated, because once the data has been ingested, if it has been ingested correctly, there are different ways to retrieve it. But if this hasn't been done correctly from the start, it becomes a lot more complicated, and reliability just is completely shit, basically. Reliability, when it's built like a normal RAG agent, is around about 60%. With the strategy I'm about to show you today, we are going in a 90% range. So I'll also show you real-world implementation using n8n workflows, and we'll see why certain decisions are really critical and why they create a competitive advantage. So I have a message here in the chat. I don't know what this is about. Monet. Yeah, just ask me real questions. All right, okay, let's continue. Okay, so are you already familiar with the concept of embedding and vector store? Have you heard of it, or have you already implemented solutions like that before? Yeah.
No.
No? All right. Okay. So basically, embedding is just create, and I'm going to show you what this actually looks like inside the Supabase database, so that you can really understand the whole concept here. So basically, the embedding is the way AI understands document. But AI doesn't understand documents as such. It creates a suite of numbers, and it retrieves the document based on semantical similarities. So basically, there is no intelligence beyond retrieving the data. It's just a way to retrieve things that are similar to what they think it is. Let me just show you what that looks like inside the database. So that's going to be that one. So that's a Supabase database. So today I'm not going to show you how to set up well, I'll talk about it, but I'm not going to show you how to set it up from scratch and all that. I'm really going to just touch on the concepts and get you to understand what's embedding, how it works, how can you use it, and what are the best practices to do that. So here, as you can see, inside this database, we have ID, content, embedding, metadata, and full text search. FTS stands for full text search. So the system is using the content. And here within the content, you see that we have content, and then we have this provided chunk is a condensed summary of whoever that is. And then here we have embedding. And so if I show you what that looks like, it's rather ugly, and it's difficult to it's difficult to, well, it's unreadable for a human. It's just a set of numbers, and basically embedding is just a GPS coordinates for text. So whatever goes into the content column here is translated back into numbers, and the AI looks for similarities within those numbers in order to get this text. That makes sense? That's what embedding is, basically. So there are different ways to do it. For instance, if you look at a very simple database, this one. So that's my database, that one. So you see here we have content, we have metadata, and we have embedding. We don't have full text search. And we are also not very thorough with metadata. So here, when the AI looks for data, it's not accurate. It's accurate because there are not a lot of rows, like there are 138 rows, which would equal to approximately 40 documents. Depends on the number of chunks that you are using. But if you look at this one here, it's got 36,000 documents, 36,000 rows and counting. So this is basically ingesting documents and just doing these mathematical calculations in order to build the database. Make sense? Don't worry, I'll go into that in details.
So I have one question, Cedric.
Yeah.
Where does the data come from?
So that's a good question. I will show you in the workflows.
Okay.
Actually, I can cover that right now. So here I'll show you the ingestion.
So that what we see now is just the storage place of the data.
Yeah, I'll show you the indexing workflow.
Okay.
Here. So this is data being pulled from the database, which is the applicant tracking system. We use Vincere, and then we get all the candidates' details. So custom fields, candidate, well, everything, interview notes, documents, everything we have. And then here, we use a context. So that's, I will show you the cloud context. Cloud contextual search. Retrieval, okay. Just go back on the workflow. So here we extract the document. So this document is coming from the applicant tracking system. And then we get the text content from that document. So it's extracted from either a PDF or it gets converted. If this is a doc or docx, it gets converted using a file converter, which is called Cloud Convert. And then this data is being analyzed. So it's being chunked down. Here we chunk it in size in 1,000 character chunks. And then here we split the data. And as the next step, we use a basic LLM chain, which is basically using the whole document and then just using the chunk of that document in order to give the context. And then this is pushed inside the vector store database. So this process here is coming from that. So Anthropic has been struggling today. I hope I'm going to be able to demo the whole process, but because it hasn't been working very well. But basically, we use contextual retrieval. So contextual retrieval is basically the process of using the whole document and then using AI to basically resume what's in the chunk and then pass that inside the Supabase database. And so here, there is a different research process, which I will show you later, but that's basically the best ingestion strategy. When the data is being ingested, there are different ways to do it. So it could be like I've shown in this table here, very simple. So just the content, just the content metadata, very simple metadata, and no contextual retrieval here. So this is not going to be very accurate. And then here, this is just the embedding, the vector. But when this is actually done properly, it doesn't look like that at all. It looks like this. So here inside the tester Superbase. See here we are pushing the content inside the table. We don't use a function. So here that's the batch size, but we don't care about that. We do them one at a time. And then here inside the default loader, we use content, which is the JSON text. So it's basically the contextual retrieval, and then the content of the chunk. But then as the next step, we also pass all the metadata, so that when we actually need the data, we have three different ways to retrieve it. We can use metadata so that we can filter by metadata. We can use the chunks, so that's the semantic searching, or we can use the full text search, which is basically just using the number of words in that chunk and being converted into something like that, which looks rather ugly as well. Let me just show you the database. So here you see we have the embedding, we have the content, we have the metadata, and here we have this one. So FTS, that's full text search, and this is basically just using the numbers, using the words, and looking for the number of occurrences. Make sense, or this is a little bit too vague? Bill, you have a question? I'm going to take a couple of questions.
Yeah, Cedric, I was just curious here. I get this. I get this so far. What I'm kind of curious about is the input data, where the input data from the recruitment side of things. Different recruiting systems bring in different data, and so I'm trying to figure out how you manage to grab that data and then end up throwing it in the database and pulling from it, and also, if it's pulling from it, maybe it's a directory or folders, or I'm not sure where it's actually pulling from, but if it's pulling that information from it, will that information get altered by the LLM somehow? I mean, this is what we want to avoid, right? If we can.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good question. So here, when the data comes in, and this works with any applicant tracking system. So here we have an Airtable database. So basically, this Airtable database is that one.
Which is,
yeah, I'm going to share that's the Airtable database. So this is just a list of exported contacts, exported candidates from the applicant tracking system. And within that, here you can see that we have the candidate ID. So we pull each candidate individually using this here, candidate search. And then we get the custom fields, we get the functional expertise, which is basically the jobs or the positions. And then here we get all documents. So we use Vincere, but if you use like Bullhorn API or Zoho Recruit or JobAdder, they're all the same. It all works the same way. So it's pulling candidates' data from the candidate's ID.
Okay, I was going to ask one other question, if you don't mind. What if, I mean, the system, I assume, part of the big benefit of it is obviously to reduce the amount of, human input, or at least bring it to it. So what is the object of it? And say it was bringing it down to shortlisting, like you're shortlisting 3 candidates or 2 or something. Then
that's a very good question.
Could it read videos then, if you did a Zoom video with a candidate, and then add it to their particular database? I'm just curious how far.
We could do that, like if they have a video as a video interview, then extract the transcript of that video and add it as a text and push it inside the database so that we can retrieve the content of the video for a given candidate. Yeah, that's totally possible. Here, in the context of shortlisting, there are different ways to do it. And I thought that initially AI agents would be able to do that. But this is not the case. This is too slow. So instead, for shortlisting, we use a different process. And I'm going to show you this process right now as well. Can you see my screen here? The workflow?
Yep. You could zoom in on it if you could. That would help. Yeah, great. Thanks.
So basically here, when a new job comes in, there is a different workflow which creates the job on the front end. When the job has been created on the front end, we get the job details. And then here we have what we call a multi-agent workflow. So it's not like an agent that you can talk to. It's a set of agents that are designed to do a particular task. And this was also quite complicated because when you are searching for candidates, there is a certain logic behind it, like knowing who is available, what do they want, do they fit the job description, are they available? There is all kind of stuff that you have to check before sending a candidate to a client. And this can't be done if you're adding the logic inside an AI agent, a single AI agent, because it just gets things mixed up. So each AI agent needs to be designed for a particular task. So that one, for instance, is looking for candidates. So this one gets the query. And then here there is a prompt, which is very simple. It uses this tool, the search bar by ranking, and then it gets the candidates pushed inside this agent. And then it gets, basically each candidate is split out as an individual candidate. And here we have a different system. So this one gets the position requirement, evaluates the candidate. So these are two also different workflows to add the different evaluation criteria. So it's like an analysis, an evaluation matrix. And here the positions are just normal. Actually, I should show you so that you can see what it looks like. It's not complicated. It's let's share. So that's a simple one. So here we have add position to vector, and so within this code we have all the different things that each positions represent. And then that gets pushed inside the vector store database, just like we would if there was a document. And then we use that inside this agent in order to evaluate each candidate. When they've been evaluated positively, they get sent as an email. So let me just show you if so what is inverse. What was the last one? New candidate shortlisted for. So here you see they get a list, and all these candidates, they are rated. And based on the rating, they get shortlisted inside the applicant tracking system. So this basically gets a job brief and then just associates the different candidates with that job brief.
So as the AI itself, it's doing the shortlisting, I guess, and it's that I like this idea. It's each one of these little agents. Otherwise, I was trying to figure out, it might get confused as hell. So I see what you do.
Yeah.
You have
right? At the beginning, I began building that as an AI agent, and I thought that it would be smart enough to process the different the different steps. But in fact, this is not the case. It becomes really unreliable because the more steps you add, the more unreliable it gets. And I will show you the type of prompt that I was using. And this was just the wrong way to build it. In fact, you need a process per agent, a task per agent.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So the idea of saying, yeah, AI will do everything, this is just not true. It will help for everything, but it will help for a single task at the time.
In our experience, it's almost like we're finding as time's going on, depending on what you're using for your engine, so to speak, your LLM engine, it seems to almost get more confused the more you add to it all the time. And and if you got a reg database, which we're just moving into the reg stuff now, and I was like,
Yeah,
this is what interested me with what you're doing is
but
that part can get pretty confusing, I think.
yeah, and the vast majority of the stuff we are seeing today are just concepts. Yeah, there are very, very few people that have developed stuff for large, for rather large data sets. So the data is not quite there yet. So that's the reason why it's really important to build based on principles that are designed by companies like that, for instance, like Anthropic. So you see, for instance, when you're building normal RAG agent, you're usually just using a normal embedding process. When you are building the embedding along with contextual embedding, you see that the success rate increases substantially. And when you combine that with different searches, and I'm going to show you how to do that, and different search concepts, it gets even more powerful. So here we are using the contextual embedding, but we are also using a different retrieval system, which is not based on C, for instance. When we are building normal agent, we just go here, and that's a Slack agent. We just go here, we go to tool, we go to Superbase vector store, and then we choose the tool, and then we just get rows, or we do different stuff here. The way these things work is different. It doesn't use like a tool like that. It uses a tool which actually has the task of doing a thorough research that combines contextual embedding and BM25, which is algorithmic search.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's
You're
cool.
welcome. Someone raised the hand, Elmar too. So
Yes.
I'm going to take a couple of questions.
Yeah, I'm referring to the evaluation process you showed about 5 minutes ago. Is there any human in the loop, or is it just automatic?
No, that's all automated.
All right.
Because the human gets the candidates have been shortlisted, but they are not in the sent status yet. So between shortlisted and sent, that's where the human comes in.
Yeah, well, that was actually my question.
Yeah, just to make sure that there is no cock-up there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you're the one to send candidates automatically anyway.
Okay, thanks.
I guess there will be some usage where the candidates could be sent automatically. I'm thinking about like lead gen stuff. Like for instance, someone completes a form on a website looking for someone specific. and they get a list of candidates with candidate summary without obviously the contact details, and that's a lead gen strategy. So they get sent, but they are not officially sent as candidates. They are being sent as a marketing asset.
Yeah, that's clever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that.
So that's just another hook that we can use. Do we have any other questions before I proceed to the rest? I actually had a presentation, but as always, I went a bit sideways. No questions?
Yeah, just one question. Are these going to be available, like the workflows and everything, in the community?
Is that going to be in the community?
Yes.
No. This is too complex and too difficult to explain. I'm not planning to turn that as a course yet. I'll see if I find a way to standardize it, and then perhaps I will share it. But at the moment, this is not the plan. Because, well, as we've mentioned previously, there are different ATS systems, and there is quite a lot involved in understanding the business that you're actually going to deploy that into. So it's really quite tailor-made. Bill, yeah.
Yeah, Cedric. To that point, this would need to be. Well, I see two things. This thing could apply towards obviously recruitment agencies. That's the ideal target market. But of course, enterprise companies who have their own HR groups and all that stuff too. I mean, two very different candidates, right? So how would you approach? How would someone like us? I'm not the tech guy. I let you guys do all the tech stuff. I'm the dummy who goes out and sells the stuff, right? So
it's not a bad job.
but I'm just kind of curious how I'm trying to figure out how you approach each one, because this is very much a tailored thing. I think you're right. I think it's custom. I think each client something.
This is difficult to productivize a solution like that.
Yeah, it is.
For enterprises, this can be used to filter candidates. Like they get candidates from all over the place and different sources, etc. And sometimes they miss a gem. They miss that unique candidate that they could have had because the person got offered the job quicker or accepted the position somewhere else. This will help to basically triage the good candidates and the not so good candidates.
It's really interesting because a lot of our stuff on the AIs, like the voice, etc. But we are custom. We are tailor-made. Everything's tailor-made from what we do. So this I thought it might be potentially a good offering for a new market, but this could be a really good offering for existing as well. For us.
The thing is that it has to be positioned. So for recruitment agencies, this is easy because it's like giving superpowers to the recruitment agents.
Yeah.
But for enterprise clients, the angle would have to be different. It would have to be like the solution that will make, don't know where I have to find a way to word it, but it would be more geared towards like saving money on ads because they would be using a system that only gets them the right candidates, and then they can put this data back into the ads platform. It would be we'll have to find different angles.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, the end goal is always the same. I mean, get the best candidate. Hire the best candidates, and that's it. And automate 80%, 60%, whatever the number happens to be that a person's throwing out. There's metrics on the saving, and then there's also metrics on the, to me, there's metrics on ROI metrics on the upside as well. Get the right candidate. What's that worth to you? There's not just the side of it.
And make the process a hell of a lot faster too. I haven't spoken about MCPs yet, but this is all working with MCPs. So basically, you can get a list of candidates that have already been shortlisted, and then just questioning Claude, you can say create a candidate summary for each. Contact each candidate using WhatsApp and see if they are available and interested in this particular job. Email each candidate with the job detail, and you can do that in bulk.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, I see. I get it. Yeah, but of course, over in North America, there's so much text versus WhatsApp, but either way, it's all the same. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's all the same. This MCP server has WhatsApp and Gmail, but I could quite easily connect to Video too and send text messages. It's all the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Back to the presentation. So we've already covered quite a lot of what I wanted to talk about in here. So what are vector stores? These are GPS coordinates for a meaning. I'll repeat it again because some new people joined in the meantime. So it's like it finds the stuff using the numbers, like the latitude and longitude. That's all this is. There is no intelligence into it at all. Like if you build an AI agent and you give a specific task for this AI agent to do something within a database, it's not going to be able to do it. It's only able to retrieve the data based on semantic and not keyword research. Keyword research is done using BM25. So it's really important to understand that when building those agents, because a lot of people think, oh yeah, I'll give the logic into the agent and this is all going to do it. No, it's not doing it at all. It's just retrieving data based on semantic. So this is basically there are two different there are several different embedding systems, large and small. I use the large one, so this consumes twice as much data. So this is the number of numbers that's contained inside the row. I use the large, so that's 3072 instead of 1536. The cost difference is negligible, but this makes the process a little bit slower. And also with very large data sets, you can have a very big database very quickly. But it's only text and numbers, so it's not expensive. So that already mentioned it. Critical to understand that AI think. It doesn't think. It finds similarity. So the AI is not reasoning. What's reasoning is the AI agent. But as I've mentioned before, AI agents are not very good at doing tasks in a sequential order and where it needs to be logical. So that's the reason why it's all built using multi-agents or MCPs. But later we'll also see how MCPs are built, and you will see that there are different blockages. How would I put that? It's too new. It works really well when it works, but it's too new to be able to be sold as such yet. So that's all good. That we've already covered it. So that's really important. It's that when you are using semantic, it creates a sentence and it looks for that specific sentence inside the database. But that's not all there is to it, because sometimes it won't understand that there are certain keywords that are mandatory. Therefore, you also need to have the FTS, so full text search, attached to it as well with a separate column, so that it can search within the semantic, but it can also do a keyword research. And that's what Anthropic actually recommends. So it cannot work like what we see here in this kind of workflows, like with a Supabase node, and just attach it like simply like that, and then just retrieve the data in this simple manner. It doesn't work like that. It needs to be both processes combined, and then a calculation needs to happen to see what's the most relevant, and then extract all of those informations, and then get that to be processed inside the AI agent. Okay, and that's all covered. That's all covered. Also, that I already mentioned it. In fact, I've already covered the presentation without looking at the slides. Okay, so that's important here. The BM25 relevance search. This is basically a search algorithm. So it uses the keyword, and I should show you inside the workflow so that you can see what I'm talking about. Do you see the n8n screen here? Yeah.
Yep.
So here we get the query. So this query is coming from another workflow. So it's coming from an AI agent or an MCP server, and I will show you that in a second. Here it looks for the semantic within the database. So this gets converted into a sentence, and then it returns this. So it returns all the candidates with the different metadata. But here we also have a score, and that's the relevance score that's coming from the Supabase. So it's basically how close it is from the initial research, from the initial query. And then here in parallel, we have a query builder, and this query builder just build a web search, like a Google type of search with parentheses and different operators, and makes a keyword research inside Supabase. And then the data that comes back from it is this. So it's the content, the embedding, which is not used by this workflow because that's for semantic, the metadata, and then here we have the FTS. So that's what gets used inside the BM25 code. So this BM25 here is a piece of code that's basically an algorithm that's giving us a score based on how many keywords and the weight of those keywords. And that there is a, so let me just show you. Yeah, you see here, there is a BM25 score, and here there is a relevance percentage. And then we use these two in order to, well, we merge everything. So we combine the search data from semantic and combine the search data from keyword. We merge everything. And then here there is a critical step. We use what's called a re-ranker. So it uses all the data from the keyword research plus the semantic research. It uses the initial query, and it ranks every result based on relevance. So you see, it's not like just a simple search where you can say, well, find me whatever, your captain. It doesn't work like that. It works by combining different sets of data and then re-ranking those sets according to their relevance. That's what makes it relevant. And that's the recommendation from Anthropic. So when you see like data returning shit, it's probably badly built. So either the database is not built correctly, or the search query is not built correctly, or the search is just not returning the results correctly, or they don't use re-ranking, which is really a big step in making this stuff work efficiently. And then that, obviously, when you have this kind of workflows, so where is it? I have too many windows open. Yeah. Did I lose it? No, I didn't lose it. It's somewhere. Yeah, it's that one. No, it's not the one. Sorry. It's this one. Okay. Here, so the results are what's called rehydrated. This is a bit of a barbarian term, but it basically uses the index from the previous step and then just sorts everything in descending order. And these kind of workflows can be used anywhere. Like this one is being used when it's executed by another workflow. But if I show you inside an MCP remote server, as you can see here, I have it somewhere. So it's here, search with re-ranking. So I use that as a tool. So now that means that when I'm using Cloud, I can just make the same query inside the AI agent as I do with Slack or as I do with anything. Have you guys built or played around with MCP servers before? No. So it's very fresh, it's very new, and it's not 100% reliable yet. But this is truly revolutionary. This is like plumbing for AI. So an MCP server doesn't think. An MCP server uses the whatever is the description here and the name of the tool in order to perform a specific task. But the brain isn't in the MCP server. The brain is inside the AI agent, or it's directly inside the LLMs.
I don't think we see what you're sharing.
You can't see what I'm sharing?
We do now.
Let me just show you the actual. Can you see that one?
Yeah, we can see it now.
So today has been cooking up quite a fair bit, but let me just show you how it's built first so that you can really understand what's going on. So here you see we have an MCP server. This MCP server has different tools. And here we have a production URL. So this production URL is simply copied, and then inside Cloud, it only works with Cloud. The ChatGPT have released connectors recently, but it doesn't work as well. And they've built it a bit weird, so it might evolve in the next few weeks, days, but at the moment, it's not quite there yet. So here we go inside the parameters. Sorry, that's in French, but you will understand it. Integrations, and then here you see we have different kind of integrations. So we have we have all sorts of integrations, and then here we can add a custom integration. So we just paste the URL, so the production URL, and then we name the integration. I'm not going to do it because I've already done it for this one. I've named it n8n. And basically, this is going to ping this remote server, make sure that this remote server is turned on. So that's really important. Otherwise, this is not going to work. And then it's going to check the different tools that you have inside this MCP server, remote server. Then as the next step, you want to go into tools and parameters. And here you will see all your tools. And so you only have to approve everything. And now everything is connected directly into cloud. So like I can make any query to the database directly from this thing. And that's where the revolution really is, because you see at the moment we have stuff like this for APIs. See, so that's all like documentation for APIs. But in the next few weeks, months, and some companies have already begun doing it, we won't have stuff like that. We will only have MCP connectors, and the MCP server of a given company, for instance, Vincere, will comprise all of that we are currently doing with APIs. So it's going to be like plug and play solutions. And anyone will be able to communicate with their databases, with their documents, with their stuff that they had to log into some kind of software and like learn a new interface and stuff. And this won't be needed anymore. And that's going to be like on steroid because the AI is beyond it. Like if I make a search now, you'll see if it works, you will see that this is extremely powerful. So give me a list. Then contains 60. There's Can you see it happening? No, you couldn't see it happening. So now, as you can see, this looks within the database. So the Superbase database using this specific tool. So search with re-ranking, that's the one I've shown previously. And here within like 3 or 4 minutes, we'll be getting a list. And then we can say, create a candidate summary for each, push those candidate summaries inside the database, shortlist those candidates, check availabilities using email, check availabilities using SMSs, or whatever you like. And this can all be done directly within the stuff that people are already using. See, it uses the different tools. So here, got information. Here it's getting more information, but in a different way. So here it's search within the database, the vector store database plus the keyword. Here it's search within the actual ATS system. And here it will search by job title. And here it will return a list. And what we are doing here is exactly the same inside Slack. Like this MCP server is connected.
We can't see. Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, can you see? Yeah. This MCP server is connected to Slack. So I can make a query. And can you see my Slack window here? I don't know if I can share that. There is no tab to share it. No, I can't share. Unless I share the whole screen. Let me just share the whole screen so that you can see the Slack channel. So here you can see, for instance, Italian sous chef for ultimate yacht, and this is my I list. So with the evaluation criteria, what did they do, the recruiter's notes, pretty much everything you need. And then you can also make a query and say create a candidate summary for each, and this is going to create the candidate summary. These have already been shortlisted for that given job. It's giving me the B list as well. You never know where luck might come from. So the so you see that's what I was saying. The MCP technology is still a bit too green. See, like I've made this query, it worked for a while, and then the connection to the thing broke. Didn't return a result. I'll show you with a conversation that has been running previously. Yeah, so the query here was find me a list of 10 captains for a 60-meter yacht. And here you see it searched using the search with re-ranking, searched the candidate database, so the applicant tracking system. And it got all the position requirements, and then it compared the different candidates against the position requirements. And then here we have a list of candidates that are ready to go. So that's cool at the moment. This is theoretical. You can't sell an MCP server because if Cloud is cooking up like it's doing today, well, you will lose a client. But when building multi-agent workflows like the one I've shown previously, this doesn't break. Like I'll show you the different executions. So I will show you the ingestion executions here. See, this just keeps running and running and running consistently, and that doesn't break. And the candidate shortlister doesn't break either. So here, see, we have all these executions. So each time a job comes in, this is being processed, and they get an email, and the candidate gets shortlisted. So that's easy to sell. Yeah.
Yeah, Cedric, I mean, this looks pretty cool. At the MCP, I was reading up on this the last few weeks, and it's certainly interesting, but I've also read similar to what you were talking about. It's not quite ready for prime time. So that was,
no, it's not. It's too green.
Yeah, that's what people seem to be saying. On this one here, this particular implementation, there would be a fair amount of security concerns with, I know a few people who own recruitment agencies, and they would have big time security concerns because they are liable for that data more so than most companies. Liable for the people.
Of course.
So I'm just kind of curious how would we approach that? Like if I teamed up with you and said, Cedric, help me make this for them, what would we tell them?
So first of all, it's got to be their own account for databases and everything.
Yeah.
And then inside Supabase, the data is pretty secure. I haven't done it inside this thing, but here you see RLS disabled. So this is a security. Oh, I'm not sharing. So this is a security feature that can be implemented for each table. and you can basically give them a compliance document with the list of each security level for each stuff. So you want to run their stuff in their own account, create the security levels, and then document those security levels for compliance. But they remain owner of the data and of the systems. And in regards to n8n, if this is self-hosted, you can choose the location, obviously.
Yeah. Okay.
And then different security protocols, like for instance, this is only a matter of securing the workflows as well. Like I can see a lot of people, especially on YouTube, they just go in and expose the API keys and stuff. This is really bad practice. So whenever you are using an API key, you have to protect it and make sure that you document that as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's just a matter of the build out, basically, and
Yeah.
make everything as self-hosted as you can for them, of course, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can end up with very large security questionnaires when you're dealing with large companies. I've received some with like 130, 140 questions.
Oh, yeah.
It's a major pain in the ass.
Yeah. Okay.
But working with big companies, that's mandatory. Next, all right.
If you were to offer this, what would you start out at?
Price-wise?
Yeah, like a setup fee, and then candidates hired that remain for X amount of months, or
yeah. So the setup fee, well, if you've been in the community for a while, you know that I have a very basic way of pricing. Setup fee and then monthly fee, and then whenever possible, especially when this is dealing with leads and stuff, a percentage on either appointments or on sale. So the pricing has to be according to what they'll be gaining. So the starting price can't be like below 5,000 for the setup fee, and around about 1 to 1,500 monthly fee, and that should be based on the number of candidates that they have inside the database, because this is what that's the only measuring system that can be reliable. Like if you're going to take a percentage on placements, you're not going to sign anybody. Yeah. but
they wouldn't. No one I know would give up a percentage of that. Not for the recruitment people.
No. So and also it's got to be positioned in such a way that this cannot be assimilated as a software as a service. Like you don't want to be compared with the price of the actual ATS, because the price of the actual ATS is like $100 per user per month. You don't want to fall in that category. Yeah, no. You want to be the profit maximizer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the key. That's the key. Yeah.
So it's like the super assistant for recruitment agent. It's the assistant that will make them 10 times more productive and 10 times faster. Sounds like it's got to be, otherwise this is going to be Matt was saying that sounds like a fair pricing model. It's got to be, because otherwise, they compare that, and especially the new stuff that they don't know with stuff that they already know. What they already know is Vincere, Bullhorn, Jobadder, Zoho, Recruit, and if they wait that, they say, well, we know that it works. We don't know that. We don't know if it is going to work. So it's going to. They know they need it. They know they need AI at some point, they just don't know how. So it's got to be priced in such a way that the risk isn't huge.
But there's also other things a person could sell to them, obviously. I mean, if this is very much the custom profit maximizer for you as a recruitment agency, so to speak, then, you know, how about a really cool voice agent that's your personal assistance for your people? And there's all these other things we tacked on, right?
This stuff, well, the beauty of this kind of system is that the hard part is the database and the research process. That's the hardest part, like, because this is where reliability needs to be very, very high. But then to add a tool that places a phone call, like using VAPI or Ultravox or any tools like that, that will, for instance, check references, call candidates to give them the brief, to do any kind of stuff that like a low-level agent or an assistant would do, and then get the data back as text or analyzed text by the AI. That's a 10 minutes job. Like if I was to plug a voice AI agent in it today, it wouldn't take me more than 10 minutes. It's just, and I can show you now how I would do it. So here, see, I have am I sharing the right screen here? Call the tool. So call this tool to check references for a given candidate. Create a new workflow. Within this workflow, I'm going to use candidate's name. And I'm going to use candidate phone number. And then here I'm going to save it. So now I'm going to refresh those fields. Going to click this magic thing here and then pass candidates. Do it on the fly, so I can type, obviously. Name. And we are going to miss one. We are going to query. That's always useful. Save. Refresh. And here I'm going to use the magic tool as well. Pass the query. Okay. I'll rename it. Save. And here, basically, I just have to put an LLM node, which is going to look at the query and contextualize the phone call. And then here, that's going to be an HTTP request. Won't do it in full now, but I'm just showing you the process. That's a post request. Here, that's going to be the post request to VAPI. Now, obviously, you have to make sure that you have the webhook set up to receive the result of this phone call. And that's basically all there is to it. So here, I just need to set up the credentials. Here, make sure I set up the right prompt so that I give the right instructions for the phone call. and just make sure that I have a webhook to receive the data from this phone call. And here, if I go back inside Cloud, so I'm going to go to parameters. I'm not sharing the right screen. I'm going to go to parameters, integration, n8n, tools and parameters. And here, as you can see, I have the voice AI. So here, if I was to say call everyone in that list to ask them if they would be interested in that specific job, I could do that. Or if I was to say check all references for Craig using the phone tool, I could do that too.
Yeah, come so I mean,
So it's insanely powerful. It's just that at the moment, MCP servers and standalone AI agents, they are a little bit too new. So the approach using multi-agents workflows is a lot better. However, this is rather slow, so it's not like an immediate conversation process where you can ask different stuff. It's something that's designed to do a specific task. What's designed to do different things are these MCP servers, but it's not ready. So we'll just have to wait a couple of weeks, months, maybe. Questions here? Yeah, AI interviewing agent. Yeah, of course, we could do that too. It's the exact same principle. What do we have? Yasmin missed the exciting part. Actually, the beginning was very theoretical with the important, but it will be recorded, so you'll get it.
okay. Yeah, I was so looking forward to this because my niche is recruitment, so I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
So then I tried to get in, and I couldn't get in.
yeah, it's
So
a
when
really
is
good
this
niche.
workflow going live?
Sorry,
When is the workflow going live?
this is already live. The workflows
Oh,
the workflows that you've seen, they are already live. So as
okay.
you can
Oh,
see, yeah, this is all processing.
okay. Well, I'll check it out when we get done with the call. Thank you.
But if you're talking about templates, you've probably missed that part. The templates won't be provided for these workflows
Oh, okay.
because it's really too it's too custom and a little bit too sophisticated. It's a little bit it's not that it's extremely difficult to explain. It's just that there is a lot of customization involved.
Okay. I'll watch the recording and get some ideas then.
Yeah, the phone screening. So that's an app.
Okay.
Automated candidate screening.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. I'm just reading the questions in the chat here. Yeah, that looks interesting. $3 per screen. That's a weird pricing strategy. I'm looking at that Rob posted in the chat. So that's a automated candidate screening. So I guess that it calls people. Yeah, per usage wouldn't be my first choice, the pricing model. Do you know what voice AI the phone screen app uses? That I don't know, I've not used it. What do you mean? It's probably platform agnostic. That's probably related to the previous question. Just correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm just reading the chat messages. Retail, yeah. You talked about being able to white label this workflow. Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. Okay, let me see if I didn't miss anything from this presentation here. No, this was all covered. This is technical as well. That's all covered. I'll give you the slides of this presentation anyway. The data ingestion, that's all covered too. Meta and embedding, yeah, I'll cover that as well. So yeah, so if basically to remember a couple of the two most important things of this presentation is the way the data is actually handled inside the database. So the data is handled in three different ways. So the content, which contains a context. So that's the query, and then here we have the embedding, which is basically converting this text into numbers, so GPS coordinates, and then really thorough metadata. And here we have the FTS, so this is a full text search, which is basically analyzing the number of words in this content, and so that we can conduct the two different types of searches. So the semantic search using the content, and then the keyword search using FTS, then combine everything in order to basically use this. So the rating by semantic, and then the rating by keyword, get this algorithm to basically create the score to see how relevant this is, and then re-rank everything just to make sure that everything is actually correct. So that's how we get relevance. And then how we get to this data is not really important. You can use Slack, you can use emails, you can use WhatsApp, you can use text messages, you can use anything you want, anything would work. It's just that we will really have to be careful in using a single agent for a given task, and don't give overly complicated instruction with specific logic, because it won't do it. Yeah, Bill.
Yeah, Cedric, actually, just to that last point there, I mean, to me, it's almost like, would you need a different agent almost depending on the source of the information, like just to keep things, you know, not getting confused, I guess. I'm not sure.
So that's an interesting one. So on different sort, you mean like different?
Yeah. So
like
if you had,
for instance, if you were to make.
Yes, all the input sources. I mean, if you had a different, it's going to come in differently. The information will come in differently, right? For the and I'm just kind of curious if you'd use maybe one for certain ones, and I don't know. I mean, the idea of marrying.
Actually, that's the way I first structured it. So when I first began working on this thing, I had a database for certificates, database for CV, and a database for references. And then within each, the filters which different doc types, which were all attached to a, actually I still have nodes attached here. So here, see the query matches the query name. So that's also a concept that I needed to talk about, but that's going to be for another day because this is really quite complicated. But here you have metadata, the data filter, and here, for example, you could have doc type, and then pull the different types of doc based on the data filter, so that you can really segment the stuff. Like you can segment it as much as you like. For sources, you could have, for instance, a source here, and Indeed. So this would only pull candidates that are coming from Indeed, because the source would be a metadata parameter.
Okay, it's interesting.
But you can do that by positions too. But in fact, I'll just touch on this concept here. Here, this query name is basically a function that's built inside the Supabase. So this query name equals, let me just show you if I have an old workflow here. I just don't want to mess up. I'll just create another node so that you can see. So that's an HTTP request. That's going to be a post request. And here that's going to be your database name. Slash, and then V1, I think this is, I can't recall exactly. And then here, appended the query name. And this query name, obviously the authentication here. So that's generic, and I think this is inside header. No, so it's got to be somewhere else. I don't know where it is. But basically this query that's appended here is a function inside Supabase. And so the functions are defined using the SQL editor. And here you can see, so for instance, this function search for re-ranking. If I was going to make an HTTP request and append that to the HTTP request, it would pull the data that's currently matching this function. And so what we are using here in this kind of workflows is exactly the same. This is just an HTTP request that uses this query name, and this query name is a function. It's quite simple, but you can make this you can make the functions very complicated. Make sense? I didn't lose anyone.
No, makes sense to me. It's yeah, it makes sense to me. Yeah, you can see how this could yeah, this is definitely custom build for the recruitment world. I can see that. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, it's hard to productivize such a tool. I might get to a point where, you know, actually I think the LLMs will be much faster than us, and the different software companies are going to lean towards building MCPs and are going to lean towards like building MCPs and APIs, so that it's going to be plug and play APIs that well, sort of APIs but MCP protocols that you can use in ChatGPT, in Claude, in Mistral, in any in Gemini or in any LLM. So they might beat us to the rest though.
Yeah, I almost wonder, that's coming. I can see that. That's the MCP. What I was reading about the, overwriting its own databases and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
That type of thing. So, but I can see once that sort of gets a little bit rock solid, that Anthropic article that you actually happen to have up there, the guide, that was the most complete thing I'd ever read in regards to something that explained it very well.
Yeah, because let's be honest, the RAG agents, the way they were built like 6 months ago was bad. Like, it wasn't reliable. And if this is not reliable, the adoption will be very low. So,
and you don't need you don't need too many screw ups before it gets out there loudly, right? So
no,
oh.
it's quite good up to like 200 documents, but most people are dealing with hundreds of thousands. I mean, the companies we want to work with and working with, it doesn't take a lot for a recruitment company to get 200,000 documents.
That's like a month.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more, but it's like, it's say around about 40,000 candidates.
It's very cool, and it's working right now for your wife's company. Okay.
Yeah, the shortlister.
Good.
And the Slack server as well, and that's a little bit unreliable, not because of the way sorry, I'm not sharing the screen. The Claude, not because of the way this is built, but because Claude just sometimes stops working. It just says, well, unavailable, or try again later. People don't want that.
No, they don't. And Claude does do that once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah, well, today was all day.
Oh.
And to do it in ChatGPT, let me just show you. It's exactly the same. I mean, you can connect ChatGPT to any databases now. But they've done something really weird with the connectors. So here, see, I can I'm not sharing.
No, we can see it.
Oh, you could see it?
Yeah, we can see it.
Oh yeah, I was sharing the whole screen previously. So here, ChatGPT, same again. You go into your account settings, and then you go to connectors, and then here, browse connector. So you click on create, give it a name. So you give it that name, and then here you go to the MCP server, production, copy and paste. No authentication, or you can set up an authentication. This is not very complicated. I trust this application, create, and this basically from ChatGPT, you can access this MCP server, which contains the different tools, but they've built it weird because at the moment you have to have like a search and a fetch function, and that only works with these two functions. So it's going to work better and it's going to work as normal in the next few weeks or few months. But at the moment, the way they've built it is not usable. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have tried it before, but it's at the moment, this is just at the stage of concept.
So the most optimal route would be to just have specific keywords that customers could use, let's say in Slack, to call each specific tool.
Yeah, you can do that too. So that's gonna be a little bit complicated to explain. But basically, in Slack API, you can create functions, and these functions, they can wait for a specific term. And when that specific term is being called, then it performs a certain action. Or you can create a different bot for each type of action and have a single channel that listens for messages. And like, for instance, let me show you in Slack. Are you seeing the Slack screen here or not?
You see, yes,
Yeah.
now we.
So you're inside a channel, and then here you can call a tool. So you can call n8n, which is a bot. And so this one is called n8n because it comprises all of the tools within the MCP server. But you could have a specific one that you could call it candidate finder or whatever you want to call it, and then call that specific bot to perform a given task. And all of the same conversation.
Okay, and you could probably just as I think, having it in a company Slack would probably be the best for like, security policies for any given company.
Yeah, it depends because you could also do it using emails, like when the candidates are getting shortlisted, they get the shortlist inside an email, like I've shown previously at the beginning of the video. Then if they reply back to this email with specific instructions, then this can be triggered this way too. So it depends.
I'm just trying to avoid the like hallucination situation with the MCPs.
I wouldn't say that MCP hallucinates. I would say that MCPs just sometimes simply doesn't work. We don't have the hallucination problems like we used to have. It's just the fact that sometimes it stops working. That's a problem.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. I misspoke, but gotcha.
But here also, there is no, well, I've shown it like that, but I've built it in a few different ways. So here, this is calling the MCP just for the sake of simplicity. But I could also have it like, where is it? I need to find the workflow with Slack in it. And that's the one. See here, I've connected it with the MCP. I could connect it with the tools directly, like tool. And then, no, not the code tool. This one from the database, that's going to be search and re-rank. I call it re-rank. Yeah, that. And then the query, that's going to be, again, that's the query. And see, I can connect the tools directly to the AI agent without going through the MCP. But in this case, I need to make the prompt a little bit more descriptive. It's just a matter of how you want to implement it. As I've mentioned before, the biggest part of the job is not how you get the data out and how you communicate with the data. The biggest part of the job is actually to have database that's really well structured, with the data ingested properly, with the right meta tags and the right categories and the right functions and everything, the right index and the whole lot. And then having a search function that uses BM25, that uses semantic search and re-ranking. That's the biggest part of the job. Then everything else is easy. All right. So yeah, so the setup fee will go up depending on customization. Yeah, of course. As soon as you add the tool, or as soon as complexity goes up, the fee goes up too. So I'm going to go back to the presentation. Can you see the presentation here? No, you can't. I'm going to share the screen. Did you have any questions? Do you have any questions before I go back to the slides? Slides are not the most interesting. All right, so I'm going to continue. So contextual retrieving, we've mentioned that before. The enhanced chunking, that we've mentioned it before. That's the reason why we have an LLM node in between extracting the content of the actual documents and pushing the content inside the Supabase database, because each chunk has its own, basically its own context. And then that's the implementation process. I think we've detailed, well, we haven't detailed, but we've seen a few workflows already. They can be built in different kinds of ways, but these ones are pretty solid. They don't fail, or rarely fail. So critical, yeah. So these are the critical steps for production-ready contextual retrieval. So core checklist, choose the embedding size. So 1536 or 3072. That's the one I use. So that's a balance between accuracy and speed. So it depends. You have to make your own decision on that, and also try and error. Must have the chunk summarizer in workflows. You need to deploy the right function inside the database. So there are different, there is a single way to deploy those functions, but you can put anything you want inside those functions. And sometimes you don't even need to use the Supabase or Pinecode nodes. You can just make an API call to that function and then read the same data. So automated full text search generation, really important. Structure data for metadata. Create proper indexes. So that's also really important. But that's actually very easy to do. It's like 3 lines of code, and you can ask ChatGPT to write this code for you. It makes the process a lot faster. Additional critical item, make sure that you choose the right chunk size. In the context of recruitment, I found that 1000 is the right balance. It's well, yeah, 1000 is the right balance. There is also a concept where you can actually overlap the different chunks. So like if you have a 1000, this is going to take 100 from the previous one and then 900 from the next one, so that it mixes them up. Okay. The overlap strategy, content-aware chunking, that's what we do. Search architecture pattern, so that's all covered. That's all covered. That we've covered it too. Yeah, that was covered too. So yeah, so basically the for best usability, multi-agent workflows work best for candidate discovery and shortlisting, and MCP's agent for database communication, or task-based AI agent for complex queries. So this is what works the best at the moment. So this is all covered. We've seen it in the workflows as well. So yeah, now the white label partnership program. So who to target? So you can target obviously recruitment agencies. This is a, in my opinion, a lot easier to sell than it is to enterprise clients. So the size, anywhere between 5 to 30 recruiters, nothing too small because they won't be able to afford even the setup fee. Revenue, anywhere between 1 to 10 million English-speaking countries. Why? Because first of all, the LLMs and the AI works a lot better. I can speak from experience with French AI programs. They are not as good as in English. So English-speaking countries, how to find these people? Well, on LinkedIn, on Google, or you can have lists. And in the next few days, I will publish a pack inside the community where you can actually get the list and the different email templates that you can use. So that's all good as well. So in regards to the revenue sharing, so you can white label the system. You do all the client communication and all the client facing stuff, and then we will handle all the technical stuff, and we do a 50-50 profit split, if that sounds fair to you. So obviously you don't need to do anything technical. So well, everything is handled for you. So just bring in the client and then you get 50%. So that's very simple. As I've mentioned, in the next few days, I'll be publishing resources. So with the ideal client profile, yeah, of revenue collected. But like on, mm, yeah, on revenue collected. But obviously, as there is always a monthly fee, that's on revenue contracted too, but after they've paid. And I will provide you with all the email sequences. I will provide you with a cold emailing n8n workflow specifically designed to sell that. So basically, all you need to do is to get the workflow running, get the appointments, run the project by me so that I can provide an estimate, etc. And then everything else will be handled for you, if that sounds fair. Do you guys have any questions? Sounds good. Great. Bill is gone. Yeah, Rob. Sounds good. Okay, perfect. So I'll leave in 5 minutes. So if you have questions, it's now. No questions, no technical questions, no business questions, nothing. All right. Cool. Anyway, the meeting, this was recorded. It was a bit of a long one. We've been around for almost 2 hours. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch with via DMs, and I'll be happy to answer everything. Bye-bye.